All right, so we're holding this meeting remotely using the Zoom platform in accordance with the governor's proclamation that we can continue to do this. And our access is posted on the town's website under the CPAC heading. We'll do a roll call to determine we have a quorum. MJ,
Here.
Ellie,
Here.
Carolyn,
Here.
Beth,
Here.
Tim, we have a quorum. We'll call the meeting to order at 7:31 minutes from April 15th. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Oh,
Thank you. Of
actually, can I move them? I wasn't here.
course you can move them.
All right, there we go.
Yeah.
Moved.
And any additions or corrections? Hearing none, we'll take a roll call on that. MJ,
Aye.
Ellie,
Aye.
Carolyn,
Aye.
and Beth.
Aye.
Tim, aye. Good, that's unanimous. Chair updates. I failed to do anything with rec.
You want
Um,
a quick, we're gonna do a town meeting recap, is that on the agenda next?
Oh, town meeting recap. Geez, I took things out of order. I'm allowed to do that, but
You are.
I'm not supposed to unless I have permission. Town meeting recap. As I think everybody was there, weren't they? Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it
I'm
went
not
well.
sure that's what a recap means.
Yeah,
Or
you
the
were there?
intent,
Good.
anyway.
No, it went well. I thought people did a good job presenting what they were trying to do, and the few questions that were asked were addressed. That worked out well.
And
other-
all your applications passed then, I take it, right? Okay, so I'll write it up that way.
Yep, so our budget, our annual budget passed, and then the three articles, the one for the parking lot, the one for the Historical Commission clothing, and the one for the steps all passed. The selectmen will lead the charge on the steps, hopefully integrating that with other work that they're gonna do in that neck of the woods. And the Historical Commission's intent is to learn some skills about deaccessioning, right, Ellie? Deaccessioning.
Yeah, I was gonna say decommissioning, but deaccessioning, yeah.
Yeah. You know, clearly the Historical Commission is in a situation where the town has reduced access to some of the storage areas that they've had in the past, and as a result, storage for the collection is going to be problematic. I think working with this woman is going to be helpful because, you know, she's got a lot of expertise. Interestingly enough, we took a quilt that Cordelia made to Lowell, to the New England Quilt Museum. And as they started to look at it, they said, you know, who needs to look at this is it's Bassett, right?
Lynn Bassett.
Bassett, yeah. They said, she needs to look at this. And we said, well,
Conveniently enough.
Yeah,
come into town. So that'll be great. But I do think that she's gonna help develop some protocols for the Historical Commission to be able to deal with the hard questions about what to part with and what to keep and all that sort of stuff, not just with clothing, but I think the system will allow them to begin to address that with other things too, so.
Yeah, and how to take care of things. You
Yeah.
know, we have an awful lot of stuff that we really don't know what we're doing with.
Yeah.
Like,
So it'll be good. And the parking lot, of course, is important to gain access to that new property at Horseshoe Pond, and hopefully, all three of these projects will move forward. Anybody you want to add anything else in regard to town meeting?
Oh, well, adjacent to that, Maureen, you had sent an agreement for, but there was only the cover letter. There wasn't a signature page.
Right, so I did respond back to your email. You didn't get that, so
Oh,
the actual
didn't.
signature pages are in your mailboxes with Tim's signature on them. So I
Perfect.
figured when you could pull it out of your mailbox, sign it.
Yep, we'll get it
pop
tomorrow then.
Pop it into mine, so,
Okay, no, I
um,
didn't see the email.
oh, I thought I responded almost right away. But I did give you a blank copy of the signature page, but then I said,
Okay.
Tim's blue ink is on the ones that we met last week and they're all in their mailboxes.
Awesome, thank
I
you.
wanted to get it out to the applicants sooner than later because I get so anxious about that July 1 date and the invoices and messing up accounting and, you know, all of that kind of thing. It's like, parking lot's done and it's June 2nd. That's great, but we can't pay it. Yeah, so. And it's tougher for those outside projects. That's the thing that I get nervous about, like, you know, those invoices. So, anyways, so it's in the mailbox.
Awesome, thank you.
What is happening? I froze for a minute, right?
I didn't notice.
Oh, you didn't? You heard me talking?
Oh,
No.
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 Oh,
just
so I
didn't
didn't
notice.
read.
We just thought you were sitting still.
No, I froze. This has been happening. I've said to James, what the hell's going on, James? You're the IT guy in the house. Why am I doing this?
And what'd he say?
I had no idea. Anyway,
Well, so congratulations on all of the applications going well and smoothly. That's good. Yeah.
anything else on town meeting? Everybody's all set? Chair updates. I've failed, as I said, to deal with the rec committee, and I'm gonna dig in on that. Now, if we're not gonna meet in June, that'll give me plenty of opportunity, so maybe we can get some headway. I'll meet with Kristen, and then perhaps we'll invite the other proponents of the two key projects that are outstanding from rec, so we can drag them in to chat with us in July or August to get some updates and understand exactly what the plan is. It seems with the pavilion, it may be problematic for them to go forward with the amount of money they've got, given the costs increases in materials and all, so they may need to reevaluate that particular project.
Which is a shame, because I think that will be, if they decide to not go forward with it, I think that was a great project.
Yeah, I mean, I would think that, you know, we turn around and say, well, why don't you come back with an updated figure and resubmit, and we'll put it on the warrant for, you know, the next cycle.
Right.
It seems that the 150? I
Is
think
that what it was?
Yeah, I think that's what it was. Might not cover, they might have to compromise their approach, and I'd rather see them come back with a more robust proposal and try to cover the costs. So anyway, we'll endeavor to get them in and have some heart-to-heart conversations about next steps. Signs. Wayne isn't here, so we're not going to chat about signs. Anybody have a member update on anything that they want to share? Yes.
So Housing Trust, two things. We have not met since town meeting. But in the 2024 warrant article for funding for the part-time support through CMRPC for Jasifa, they have been unable to find anybody to replace her, and we are, but they have said they will provide us that support just from their folks internally. And I wanted to confirm with y'all that we can use the money allocated in that warrant article in order to pay them for those services.
I mean, it's still CMRPC.
Right, and still doing
The
what the
same
money was
way.
allocated for.
I think they're gonna have Emily do it, and Emily worked on the, she worked on the housing production plan for the town the last time. So she's familiar with the town and familiar with housing and a lot of those issues. So it may come to pass that she may be more helpful in some ways, given her skill set
Mhm.
and the opportunity to go after grants and stuff like that, that may be beneficial to you guys.
And the article, the warrant article didn't name anybody by name, or did it even name a specific position, or just support from CMRPC?
It was a housing coordinator, I think is how it got termed. That CMRPC would, they had a grant initially, and then they were looking for the communities to pick up the tab in the second and the third years.
Right.
So that would continue to be the position title, I would think.
Cool.
But that's, yeah, good. That's one item. What was your other?
Well, at town meeting, the transfer of the schoolhouse to the housing trust was not successful. So that's backburnered. For the moment, we will see what the select board chooses to do. So we will be doubling down on attempting to get this down payment program. Like the amount of agita for this one program has been really ridiculous. But now after town meeting, we should be able to get the attention of the lawyers and get a contract in place.
Good.
So
Awesome.
Well, I would want to encourage any further attempts to take another crack at the Legion Hall. I was actually trying to speak on that before Peg called the question, because I think the idea of coming up with all these other pie in the sky ideas of what to do when we have a plan in place and a group that, housing is already funded, so it seemed that a lot of the talk on that really got in the weeds, and I would hope that if the opportunity came up again, that there might be a better opportunity, particularly if it's not after everyone has gone home and is trying to get
Right.
out of there, that
Right.
a proper conversation on the subject, I feel, could likely sway the votes needed to get it to 2/3. I think it was just bad timing,
It was
so.
bad timing, and we need to get the select board more aligned in terms of what we believe their responsibility is when people are like, it could be a whatever.
Yeah,
Right.
So that was a little frustrating. But with Lisa now as on the select board, she will have to resign from the housing trust. So somebody will have to chair that. But it does get us, I feel like she would not leave whoever stands up in front of town meeting in that position next time. But Tim, you have a comment. I'm not running this meeting. I don't know why I said that.
No, anybody can run it anytime they want.
It's hard when you're used to running a meeting, isn't it?
Really is. I'm on Zoom,
So-
therefore I must be running the meeting, right?
it's not just me.
There is someone that's appointed from the select board that serves on the housing trust.
Correct. And so Lisa is Scott has been doing that. Lisa
And
is
does-
likely to take that, but they will sort that out.
That's what, yeah, so I was wondering about that. And in that position, she could certainly continue as chair if you guys wanted her to.
Can she?
Why not?
I don't know what the rules are.
It just says
I guess
that
that person is a voting member.
member, right? They're just
So-
appointed. So you end up with a collection of people that are appointed by, they're all appointed by the select,
They're appointed by the select board. So
Yeah,
that's a
so-
little,
and one has to be a select board
one
member.
has to be a select board member. I guess we'll see. I was assuming she would have to resign. She may want to, obviously,
That's true, but
while there's still just three of them. That's a lot to wrangle, but we'll see what she wants to
Well,
do. I
I
had it in
mean,
my
she'll
head that we'd have to.
I imagine she would have to resign from her current form of appointment and then be reappointed in, the other capacity,
Yeah.
but
In the select board slot, right?
yeah,
Right.
but yeah, you should probably be able to reappoint her chair if that is your
Yeah.
aim.
And in regard to Housing Trust, I know we have talked in the past about a formal sort of letter of understanding in regard to the expenditure of funds. So if you guys have an opportunity to talk about that at your meetings and come up with some language that you're comfortable with, we'd be
yeah.
happy to listen. Otherwise, we may threaten you with no more funds. So
Perfectly reasonable.
figure it out.
We will be, I'm working out of, I guess Maureen has seen it. I don't know who else, if anyone else was on the email, but I really like the language that Concord uses in some of the stuff they do. So that's what I'm taking
Good.
as the,
Maureen is partial to Concord for some reason, and yes, you are.
No,
Can you-
they've been doing it for such a long time. Why reinvent the wheel? And Beth likes Concord also.
Yep.
Yeah, I think actually MJ was at the meeting, Ellie was at that meeting. It was the meeting that you and Carolyn missed that we kind of talked about how Concord has a really good
Yeah.
base that we can almost take all our policies.
Yeah.
They do a good job.
Other-
But they've been doing it forever. I think they were like the first community involved,
Wow.
yeah.
Any other member updates? Okay, administrative matters. So the agreements have been put into mailboxes and emailed, and so everybody that received approval at the town meeting are supposed to get those back to us, just so they clearly understand that we don't want anybody starting until July. We want a point person that's gonna be the key representative, so we can have someone to speak with if we have questions, and they can have someone to speak to us.
And not to hold invoices like to the end of the project and.
Yeah.
Um,
The whole procedural.
make sure they come to me, so like. I can't think of anything in this particular case that wouldn't be eligible, but like say we were doing a rec project and. Somehow basketballs ended up on an invoice, we wouldn't be paying for the basketballs, you know what I mean? That kind of stuff, like, and then I'll go ahead and, make sure that, TA's office actually gets their copy also, so, but the invoices gets a little, cause I don't want to go down to Amy in June and then them bounce it back to me and then, kind of thing. It's like trying to get that process going, and don't hold them to the end because, that can be a little confusing too, especially if something doesn't do, but I think these should be pretty easy, these ones.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, shouldn't be too much of a problem,
Um,
but they're done, they're out.
And we were talking the other day about the application process for fiscal 27 and what do we say, November 5th?
Yeah, we're gonna move it to 5th because the Friday, because the first ends up on a Monday and I won't likely be able to take a full day off on Monday from work. If I back it back to the Friday, that's Halloween. So I just pulled it out to the next Friday for, so I can be in the office and get them hand delivered on that last day. I've done that the last 3 years and it just makes it, make sure that everybody meets that deadline.
So you said November,
I think it's November. It's weird. My little calendar, it's an academic one, so it actually ends in June. I have to get a new
Oh, no.
calendar.
right?
It can
So
happen
the-
after June. We're just done.
It
The
would be
first, the
7th.
first, the first Friday after Halloween is the 7th.
Yep, the
Then
7th.
it's the 7th, yeah, whatever it
Right.
was, yeah.
And
But so I'll be in the office and that's how it's gonna be posted. It's posted on the website. Just gives that extra week if people need it.
so keep your ear to the ground and, if you think that there are projects that people are thinking about, get them to come in to talk to us sooner rather than later and actually put their applications in well before that November date. There's no harm in that at all, certainly. It helps us vet the proposal ahead of time and if there are any hiccups, we can get them resolved, so.
And the,
Anything else on the application? That's basically what we wanted to talk about, I think.
Yeah, there's a few tweaks to it, as far as, if there needs to be signage at this thing, like I've added a few kind of tweaks for people to fill in. But, nothing major. Just things that can be helpful for your review process, like signage, trying to encourage people to go to other boards and committees if they're, like the one we talked about last week, Tim, was like, if say the cemetery commission came in to want to kind of do some rehab on some of the graves, they would probably go to the historic commission to get a letter of support because it kind of would coming out of historic's not doing the application, like, just kind of get that more involvement on things, but just small tweaks to the application.
Good, that's it for the application. The other administrative matter is that we're not meeting, well, we could meet in June. We've chosen not to unless you're wanting to real badly. Maureen is in transition. Is that the best way to talk about it? Transition?
What it is I'm actually putting in for my retirement with Worcester. And you can still work in a part-time capacity. So, but you have to have a separation of 20 days. So, I guess it's transition. Yeah.
So
So-
you effectively have to resign, which you've written that letter,
I wrote the letter, yep.
and then we post the position again. And then we go through that process and
Is that what Kristen said? I don't know. I talked to Kathy, but I didn't talk to Kristen.
yeah,
Like
I
Kat-
shared with them. They asked
Yeah.
me for anything that we had in regard to the posting the last time, as well as the job description, so I shared that with them. I didn't see any reason to change the job description. I think it's identified all the things that we need to get done and that you do so well, so.
And I enjoy it, and I was happy that when I met with Worcester, they say, yep, if you're under 10 hours a week, of course you can keep it.
Yeah.
But you do have to have that separation, so,
So that's what's gonna happen in June.
yeah.
awesome. And then is the meeting schedule for the rest of the year in an email somewhere?
It's in an email and it's on the webpage also.
Okay,
I will go ahead and I did already, grab all our Zoom meetings, but I'll go ahead and I'll cancel the June one. but you'll have to decide, do you want to meet July 1st or July 15th? Like, I will be back working for you all on, June 23rd. So as soon as I hit the ground running on the 23rd, I'll still do those admin things where I'll close out. Hopefully we'll have the statements and all from accounting, so I can close out the fiscal year and get the progress reports out. And then Tim, I'll be in touch with you because we're probably going to need to know who we're gonna send the progress reports out to and far as regarding the 2 rec applications.
Right.
Because last year Julie actually stepped up and did them, but we don't have a member on here for this year. But I'll start right away. I'll be back on June 23rd to do the FY ending stuff and the progress reports. So we have those in time to report to the state. So July 1 or July 15? I think you could possibly go to July 15, unless there's anything that you guys want to come in and speak to on July 1.
So the
So-
15th, I may not be able to attend.
That
I'm
might
taking
be
a-
true for me as well.
Okay, so
Right.
just July
So
1.
we might want to just do the 1st and not the 15th.
Everybody else available the 1st?
Yeah, either should work for me.
Okay, good. So
Let's go with
let's
July
shoot for the
15.
first.
First, that's good. I thought the 4th of July week, with especially with the 4th falling on a Friday, I thought everybody would be gone. But, okay, good. So I'll be back in time to get that posted.
Yeah, and what I'm
Awesome.
thinking is,
Well,
The-
assuming I get rehired, I don't know, maybe.
well, that's what how do we want to, the job's gonna be posted. Do you want to authorize me to interview any of the candidates and how did we do it before? I interviewed.
Right, probably with Kristen, because that's how
Yeah,
I
and
did Maddie.
I did it with
It was
Mark,
Margaret. I was
Yeah.
hired with Margaret, yeah.
and I think you authorized me to go ahead and offer the position. I don't think I came back to you and had you interview.
I think actually Margaret offered it to me.
The way the job description's written, it says you report to the town administrator.
Probably and you,
Let me look at that.
because
Mhm.
so the conservation agent position, they report to the TA and to the chair.
How did you got it posted now, right?
Correct.
And are you gonna interview with someone else other than Kristen or just Kristen?
Just Kristen.
And will you and Kristen make the decision?
Yes.
And so the Conservation Commission authorized you to do that.
Well.
Yes, they did.
Yes, yes, they did.
So,
Do you sign Maddie's time slips, Carolyn? or
I
does
do.
Kristen? Yeah, okay.
I do, yeah.
Yep, and that's the same thing. You sign my time slips, but I think the offer had come from Margaret versus from you. I think that's how it went.
Right, because I mean, technically, we're not, neither Tim or I are paid employees of the town.
Right.
But
oh, I
Margaret
thought you
is.
were.
Yeah, I get the same pay rate you do.
Amazing. I think I got that pay as well.
Right? See, now Beth wants to be chair of housing. She wants
get
that
the
pay
big
rate too.
bucks. Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so it says the position works under the general administrative oversight of the town administrator and direct supervision of the Community Preservation Committee chairperson. And any applications are submitted to community preservation. Okay, so I think what we want is a motion to just clarify the fact that I'm authorized to interview and hire
I
So
make a
moved.
on your
motion
behalf.
that authorizes Chair Tim Wheeler to make a decision about hiring, what's Maureen's official position? Or
Administrative
administrative
assistant.
assistant.
Yeah, I think that's what it says. Wait a minute.
Yep.
It may be posted differently. It's Community Preservation Committee Assistant.
That
That.
position, that
Perfect.
position.
Okay. Do we have a second?
Second.
Ellie, and any comments or constructive observations? Everybody's good. We'll do a roll call. Beth,
Yes.
Carolyn,
Aye.
Ellie. Did Ellie say yes?
Yeah,
MJ,
Aye.
Tim, aye. It's unanimous. Thank you very much.
so I have to submit an application, it sounds like,
I think for
purposes,
to
yeah,
be proper, probably that's the way it should work.
okay, I will do that.
Public input. No public. That's done. Our next meeting's July 1st. We've settled that. And anybody have anything else they want to add?
No.
That's great. Have a great Memorial Day.
Yeah.
You too.
Seems weird it's so early.
Yeah.
And the weather doesn't
It
look
feels like Patriots Day.
particularly wonderful.
Yeah.
Yeah, asparagus is gonna just shut down this week. It's like,
Too cold.
oh yeah, I mean, we
Yeah.
picked today, you know, and we got half what we did 2 days ago, and tomorrow there'll be half again less, so.
Wow.
Oh.
And will that be it for the season or will
Oh,
they?
no, because
it-
we'll pick to the, I think 15th of June,
Oh, wow.
but, the next 10 days aren't out of the 60s, so
Oof.
Yep.
I don't
I know,
think.
I have the pellet stove on.
Yeah,
It's crazy.
Northborough Oil delivered today. I thought, oh, yeah, great, thanks.
Yeah, right?
They have
Ugh,
to fatten their coffers for the summer, I guess. I don't know.
ugh.
Anything else anyone wants to add? All right, thanks, everybody. Do we
Oh,
have a
wait, I
motion to
make, yeah,
adjourn?
I make a motion to adjourn.
In a second,
Second,
it's non-debatable. MJ,
Aye.
Ellie,
aye.
and Beth. Carolyn,
Aye.
Tim is I. That's it. Thank you, Maureen.